In life, everyone goes through times of difficulty. It is the process, the journey, however, of going through a time of hardship that transforms us. While a journey may end in many different forms, such as redemption, atonement, forgiveness, or discovery, each journey is similar in that there is always a call to adventure, where we are faced with a challenge that we must overcome, always mentors who help us along the way, always a lesson to be learned, and always an end. It is through the process of a journey that we transform and mature. I learned from the movie The King's Speech that we are never alone on our journeys. In the movie, Prince Albert must become King George VI, but he is doubtful of himself because he has a speech impairment. Afraid that he might not be able to make proper speeches in front of the country, Prince Albert hires Lionel Logue to help him with his stammers. While he was skeptical of Lionel at first, Prince Albert not only successfully makes his wartime speech at the end of the movie, he also becomes lifelong friends with Lionel. I learned from the book A Lesson Before Dying by Ernest Gaines that we make a bigger difference in the world than we think. Jefferson is a young black man who was falsely convicted of murder and sentenced to death by electrocution. Convinced that he is not worthy of being human because his defense lawyer called him a hog, Jefferson neglects his family during their visits and chooses to isolate himself. Jefferson's godmother sends Grant to convince Jefferson of his worth. After a few visits, Grant and Jefferson become good friends. Even though he is a dying man, Jefferson eventually finds comfort in the connection that he has with Grant, his family, and the local people. He transforms from a simple convict who believes that he is lower than a hog to the hero and symbol of change in his community. I learned from Maury from the book Tuesdays with Maury by Mitch Albom that happiness comes from within and not without. Maury is diagnosed with ALS, a nervous system disease that slowly eats away at the victim's nerve cells. Instead of being saddened by his impending doom, Maury spends his time reconnecting with his old friends, one of which is Mitch, a former student who has lost hope in pursuing his dream career of becoming a musician. Mitch buries himself in work, believing that the more he achieves, the happier he will be. But after talking with Maury and experiencing Maury's last moments of living, Mitch realizes that there is more to life than money and status, and that success and happiness come in many different forms. Everyone goes on different journeys, but what I know for sure from seeing the relationships between Prince Albert and Lionel, Grant and Jefferson, and Maury and Mitch is that the connections that we make with other people are equally as important as the lessons that we learn from overcoming challenges. The mentors that aid us in our journeys not only help us through our challenges, but also provide the companionship that many of us need. As we approach the end of our journey, the people that we meet along the way are what will come back to us and help us with more journeys to come.